Hello and welcome to week 5 in developmental psych. And we enter a very exciting time as a somewhat kind of developmental psychologist myself. I think this is a very, very important stage. Middle and late childhood, they come into school. They come to school. This is a major change in the social environment from the family center to a larger institution that does a lot of comparison. And Erickson viewed this and saw this even cross-culturally, even in homeschooling and even in other countries that he did his observations. Erickson saw this particular trend. In the first discussion, what I'm actually going to have you do is to recall in your own life when you were this age, school experiences that contributed to your sense of industry versus inferiority. A teacher, a classmate, whatever, something that happened during that time that contributed to your sense of industry or inferiority. I would also like you to inquire with your subject to see if they can remember something from their first years of school when that comparison, social comparison, started happening and how it impacted their sense of industry. Sorry, lost a train of thought there. Then we look at a quiz, and I'm asking you, this is a little bit more of the, we get into Piaget's work, where I want you to give me a description of what does concrete operational thinking mean. We're going to go from concrete. Next, we're going to go into formal operational thinking. Concrete operational thinking, really, really, really great age. There's lots of research. This is where make-believe happens. This is where, all of these really treasured aspects of childhood come up. So let's talk about, in this quiz, give me what does concrete operational thinking look like? And then I also go into the concept of intelligence and the different ways in which we've measured that. Of course, intelligence testing itself has its origins in schools. Way back when Alfred Binet was asked by the French government to develop an intelligence test, it was to place students in classes that are more appropriate to their intellectual level. So intelligence has always been a part of the conversation when we're talking about schools. So it enters into this chapter, and I'm going to be asking you to look at one particular theory, a newer theory, the theories that are sort of responding to the unilateral sort of IQ. One score means how intelligent I am. We have other theories. In particular, we have Gardner's theory of intelligence, where it's a number of intelligences, multiple different kinds of intelligences. In this particular question, I want you to list each of them and an assessment of your particular level of skill in any one of those areas. Maybe give yourself an IQ type score, with 100 being average, 120 being above, 140 being genius, and they go 80, 60, Maybe play around with those numbers. I'm just suggesting some ways that you can do that. And give me some examples. So if you say, I'm a 120 in musical intelligence because you don't go, writing all kinds of paragraphs about it, but explain where you are in terms of that. I'm stealing that scale. That is really not how that particular theory works. But in terms of rating yourself, use that scale that we often associate with IQ. Now, those are the two questions that are in the quiz. Now, at this point, what is due is an assignment that relates to another chapter very early in the class having to do with infancy and childbirth. And this week, the cultural dimensions of childbirth special assignment is due. The instructions for that are in the special assignment sections in the course book, where you're going to be looking at least two different cultural norms associated with childbirth practices. You are creating an attractive document. You're creating whatever it is that you choose to create. There's all kinds of different ways, to paint this room. So whatever you choose to do, you want to make it compelling. You want to make it attractive. You want to put pictures in it. You want it because these are training materials that you would use if you were in charge of training volunteers at the birthing center of your creation, and thus educating what would be important for volunteers to know about these two cultural categories that are coming into your community. How can we best meet them where they are, understanding their expectations and how they interface with Western expectations as to what happens during the birthing process. This will require some research on your part, some deep research, getting enough information. Keep this in mind. I want you to have enough information in there that if you were going to a different place, they would understand your particular preferences and whatnot for birthing. So details, get some details in there. So, a 2-page pamphlet will probably not cut it. There won't be enough room on that thing. You might have to have a multi-page pamphlet, or you might have to have a slideshow, or you might have to create a little booklet. Pictures, be artistic. All of you that have artistic tendencies, knock yourself out creating really interesting names and histories for your theoretical organization. I've seen that happen. Have fun with this one, engaging in that sort of other part of your brain for the artistic components of this particular assignment. So a little bit of a busy week. We have 2 discussions, quiz, and then that assignment due, and that will be it for this week. So have a great week. Toward the end of this week is the Trek Across Maine. I will be participating in the Trek Across Maine, and my communication will be certainly limited during the day. I'm not going to text anybody while I'm on my bike. Going to try and check on the evenings, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. See how things are going in the class, but I might be a little absent during that time. So make your way through the material. Have a great week. And I will see you next time as soon as I find this button. There we go.